Hello there. Welcome to yet another episode in the JIRA tutorial for Business Analyst video series. It's episode number 4. We're going to talk about the user stories, the creation of user stories. So a quick recap. We all started off, with a quick introduction episode, and then we had an episode where we set up the project in Jira called ABC Online Home Delivery Service. That's a workspace where all the things related to the projects are put into. The third episode was creation of epics. So based on the user story map, which we're using as a case study, we created 4 epics in the Jira tool. And today in this episode, we're going to talk about how to create the user stories for those epics. So that's the topic of today's video. So stay tuned, and we will create at least a couple of user stories to demonstrate, and then I'll build up the user story map in the ABC project in Jira. Yep. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the user story map. So we created these 4 epics: browse, order, pay, and track. And now we're going to create these user stories and link it to the corresponding epics. So let's quickly flip over to Jira. So this is the Jira tool. Again, I'm in the projects, ABC Online Home Delivery Service. Let me just minimize this. And then these are the epics which we created in our previous video, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which kind of correlates to this. Browse and search, online order epic, then payment for that online order, and then tracking for that online order. So these are the 4 epics which we have created. So it's here under the epics tab. So in case if you want to just quickly look at the epics, you can just go back to the backlog, and you will have a tab called epics here, and then you can click on it. It will show you the list of epics. Okay, so now we have the project, we have the epics. Now we're going to add the user stories. So in order to add the user stories, you just have to click on this button here, create issue, and then it'll tell what needs to be added. Since it's a first story, I want to expand it out. So you can click on this one. It'll expand out the user story options. So again, there are a lot of fields here. Everything is configurable. If you click on this, you can configure which is required, which is not required as per your project requirements. But for this demonstration, just let's try to fill up as much as possible. So the project is ABC Online Home Delivery Service. This is the story. This is the type of basically this is a user story. So we have task, epic, bug. I think we covered epic, so this one is the user story. We'll cover the task and bug in the upcoming episodes. So the summary, you can just provide a brief of what the user story is. I just copy paste it just for simplicity and tracking back to the user story map. So this is grouped by categories, and now in the description I'm going to write the user story. Um, I have created a video on how to write user story using 3 components. I'll link it into the description box below. In case you have not checked it out, you can check it out. I'm going to use that same three-part component structure to write out this user story. So the first part is this format of the user story as a who, I want, what, so that, why. So it basically covers the who, what, and why, and we're going to write it from a customer perspective. So this is a group by categories. Basically, in this user story, what we are kind of trying to achieve is when the customer is on the app, they should be able to it should be easily able to browse for the available food items, and one of the ways is grouping by categories like breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner menu. So in case if it's a lunchtime, they want to know what's available for lunch. If they just click on lunch, they should be able to see all the food items grouped under that category. So that's easy for them to order. So again, it's a customer experience piece and ease for the customer to order. So let's write a user story. The first one is, as I told you, who, what, and why. As a customer, I want to view the food items arranged by categories so that I can easily select the food I easily select the food item. Yeah, so it's just a and I can refine it further, but just for this demonstration, I just want to keep it simple. So as a customer, I want to view the food items arranged by category so that I can easily select the food item and order. Yeah. So the reason I bolded it out is once you've created the story, it will kind of stand out. And this is the format, and this is the details for it. So this is what we are trying to do. This is the first format. Who is the customer? What is they want to view the food items arranged by categories, and why is so that yeah, a customer can easily select the food item and order. Okay, and then let's go to the second part of the user story, which is the acceptance criteria. So acceptance criteria is something um, which will help the development team and the testing team to come ensure that they have developed the story accordingly. So the acceptance criteria is the key thing, and it's called definition of done. So this gets translated into the test scripts for the testing team, and for the development team this ensures that they've covered all the possible scenarios related to this particular user story. So let me go on. It can be multiple acceptance criteria, 1 2 3 4 5, positive, negative, all of those can be uh, captured here. I'm just going to capture one for demonstration purpose. So we're going to use behavior driven development model, BDD. Again, in the link of the user story video, you can go and check out the format, the template. I'll explain in great length. It can be used for writing your user stories. So it uses this format: given, when, then. So basically, given, when, then is again like a template. Let me again, okay, so let me remove this. Let me unbold it, and then we'll bold one by one. So basically, given is a context. So what is the precondition, or what is the scenario we are under? When is event, when something happens. Then is like when this event happens, then what is the thing we are expecting the system to do. So that is the three things. Given is a context, when is an event, and then is what the system should do when that particular event happens. So let's again look at this example. So given customer is logged on to the online application, when they are searching, or when they're browsing, or let's say when they are on the home page. I think it'll be pretty easy. When they are, or let's say put it when customer are on the home page, then they be should be able to see the food items group by categories. Okay, so yeah, we can refine it further, but again I'm writing on the fly now. So this kind of summarizes it. So when given the customer is logged on to the online application, when the customer is on the home page, yeah, then customer should be able to see the food items grouped by categories. So this is what we are trying to achieve, and we are clearly spelled out. So let's say that when the developer is developing it, they know, okay, when the home page, okay, the category should come. Testers also, when they go to the home page, the category should come. So that is what the acceptance criteria is. Then there is a third component to it, which I call supporting model, but it can be named as functional models, or basically this will help the development and the testers to provide more context, more details, so that the user story gets as per the requirement. So again, let me bold this part out: given, when, then. So supporting models are basically like, for example, in this would be like, what are the items, what are the categories, what are the items to be grouped under those categories. So that is one key thing required. And then if you click on the categories, how should it expand? So just to put it together so that it's clear for the development team and testing team. If we are all co-located, if the scrum team is co-located, then we don't need to go into these details. But nowadays it's seen that scrum team is widely distributed. The developers are in China, testers are in India, or the developers are in India, testers are in the countries like USA, Mexico, uh, Australia. So it's widely distributed team, and for that reason, having more details in the user story really helps. But let's say if you're all sitting together in a single room, then this much details in a user story is not required. Okay, so supporting model. So this is what we can try to create a kind of a table, or let's see if there's a, yeah. So let's create a table. So heading is basically, let's say, breakfast for items, or no, let's do this here. So this would be item one. I'm just going to, I'm not going to basically type out everything, just to give you a quick view. So this will be item two. So this will be category. This is a header, basically header of the table, category, and then for item. Yep. So this is breakfast one and two. Then similarly, we can put again couple of items for lunch. Okay, one and two. So I think that should be good, I guess. So then there is a place where you know you can actually add mockups or anything. So we created one mockup actually, and I just wanted to use this here. I'll put it over here. So this is a mockup. Basically, it gives how the navigation should work. I'll show it to you here. So this is so one of the supporting model is this, which is please refer to the, or to the table below for the mapping between categories and for items. And then the second one will be refer to the mockup attached for the navigation. Yeah, so we'll cover that. I'll display the mockup once we create the story. So this is a high priority, so let's keep it high. This is a mockup we have had, and now um, you can assign it to the for assign it to you for now, but later on we can assign it to, let's say, the scrum master, but at least for now let's keep it there. And this is the epic link. So when you click on this, it will show all the epics which we have created. So if you go back to our diagram or the user story map, group by categories is under the browse epic. So I'm going to select browse and search, which is ABC1. We don't have anything for sprint at the moment, so we'll basically leave it blank, and then I click on create. So what what this has done is it has created a user story called group by categories. Then the numbering is ABC5, and it is linked to browse and search epic. So that is what we have done. So let me click on ABC5 now. If you see all the details which we basically entered, let's see. Yeah. So all the details we entered. As a customer, I want, so the who, what, and why, then the acceptance criteria. Looks like the bolding is not working. Maybe I'll edit it. But then if you see the supporting models here, we have the items like category food item, one, breakfast, 1 and 2, lunch 1 and 2, and then this is the mockup which we have added. So this is a quick mockup which was created. Nothing fancy, but just wanted to show how it should work. Like, so we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and if the customer clicks on it, then the breakfast, let's say they click on breakfast, it should be expanded out, and all the items under it should be shown to the customer. So it kind of provides more context and more clarity to the developers, so that they can develop accordingly. Yep. So that is what is there in the story. So if you see, it's like we have linked it to browse and search, and priority is high. So we'll keep it for now. So this is what the story with details is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all these stories, but I'm not going to go to that much detail as we did for this story, but the concept is pretty simple. So I'm going to do this one. Let me just create quickly. So if you want to create quickly, it will automatically, system will create it. If you just click on this, yep. See, your story is created, but it's not linked to the epic. I think you can again refine it further, add the details. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to let it. I'm just going to link it to the epic. Yeah, here it is. So I'm just going to link it to the epic, browse and search, and then I'll close it out. Then I'll put in all the details later. So this way, I just wanted to give you a visual representation of this user story map, how it will look into the backlog. But I'll go back and add all the details for the search by keyword, same who, what, and why, acceptance criteria, and also some mockups and some more supporting details. So let's go and create all the user stories like this. So I'm just going to link it to the epics. That's all. I'm not going to do anything else. So registration is under the order epic. So that's how we have categorized it here. Then login is the next one. Again, it goes into the order epic. Then add and remove from cart. So add and remove from cart is also a functionality where we are asking the customer, like, ability for the customer to add to the cart or remove an existing item which is added to the cart. So if you see, we covered the three functionalities, which is registration. So this is basically a story for ability for the customer to register. Then once they've registered, login function, they should be able to log into the app, and once they've logged in, they should be able to add or remove items from the cart. So it's all linked to the order epic. So it's basically all related to ordering. And then the other one was a nice feature, that is, let's say once the customer has ordered for like item 2 3 4, the next time usually they keep on ordering the same thing, at least I do. So this gives an option for the customer, not just click on a duplicate button, and they can order from history rather than selecting the items again. So that is this duplicate previous order. So as we have seen in the user story map, all these 4 user stories are linked to the order epic. So it's order epic, it's linked, and the first 2 are search by categories, group by categories, are linked to the browse and search epic. So let me quickly add out the other things as well. So I'm going to put cache. So this user story basically is ability for the customer to, allowing them to make payment for their order by cash. So once the uh, delivery person comes in, then they can order in by cash. This increases the trust factor, at least when we are starting out. But then these are the things which will help to streamline the process, which is online payment by debit card or credit card. So that will be another user story. And similarly, if the customer has internet banking, then they should be able to the order for their sorry pay for their order using their internet banking. And then we have this payment wallets. So we have a lot of payment wallets these days, from Amazon Pay to Apple Pay. So all of those should be or could be used by the customer to make a payment for their online order. So that would be this user story to get that development. So if you see 1, 2, 3, 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 user stories, basically payment by cash, debit, credit, internet banking, payment wallets. All of those has been created and they are linked to the payment epic. Yeah, payment for online order. And then the last epic is tracking. So I'm just going to put few more stories for that and we'll refine it further. So this is the part where once the customer has ordered, they should have a expected time of arrival. So let's say they've made an order, they know it's on the way and it's going to come by 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever it is. So that piece. And then the other piece is the support. If they are not happy for some reason with that order, or this is a functionality where they can raise their queries or get support and sorted it out. And then the other one was order progress. So order progress is, so the ETA will just tell them what is the time. Order progress basically will give them step by step, whether the food is getting prepared or whether food is picked up, it's on the way. So again, more tracking, so the customer knows where it is. So we are basically building on to this part, which is a live tracking. So all of these stories are good supplement, and the final one is live tracking, where they can look into the maps to find out where exactly the person who's delivering is. So that's the highest level of tracking. So what we have given, we are building up from the ETA to the order progress steps and live tracking. So this kind of summarizes this user story map. I think let me make this a different color just to, yeah, okay. So this is your product backlog, and we have translated the user story map into the product backlog. Let me just close this out as well. So if you see, we have 14 user stories. First two are for browse and search, Epic, and then the next four are for ordering, registration, login, and then the next four are for the payment, and the last four are for the tracking purposes. So the entire user story map is translated to a backlog. We can go to each of these stories and refine it like how we did for the first user story, add all those details, make it as detailed as possible. Again, if you're in a distributed team, but again, if you're all sitting in the room, you can have a discussion and take it to the next steps. So that's it for today's video. Hope you liked it. In the next video, we're going to look at how this product backlog gets translated to a sprint backlog, and then we start the sprint process. This is where this four events of or ceremonies of Scrum comes into play: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and then the sprint retrospective. So we're going to cover all of those in the next videos and using the tool. So we're going to create a sprint and then start off with those videos. So that's it for this episode number 4, creation of user stories. Hope you liked it, and thanks for watching this video till end, and stay tuned for the next of the episodes. Thanks once again.